Hello and welcome to Math Excel Educator. In this video, I'm going to explain how to solve quadratics by completing the square method. Completing the square is a technique for converting a quadratic polynomial of the form ax squared plus bx plus c to the form a x minus h squared plus k for some values of h and k. The graph of any quadratic function is a parabola, and the numbers h and k may be interpreted as the vertex of the parabola. So, the vertex of the parabola is hk. Consider this quadratic polynomial, which is x squared plus 10x plus 28. This quadratic is not a perfect square since 28 is not the square of 5. However, it is possible to write this quadratic as the sum of this square and a constant, which is x plus 5 square plus 3. So the vertex of this parabola will be negative 5, 3, which you can see on the graph to the right. Now let us start with a few questions. In these set of questions, we have to write each of the following expression in the form of x plus a square plus b. One important thing that we have to keep it in our mind is that before we start solving these questions, we must check that the coefficient of x squared is always 1, which is in this case. Next, we pick the coefficient of x, which is 6, and divide by 2 always. So you get the number 3. Next, in a bracket, you write x. Take this sign here, which is a plus sign. Take this number 3 here and make it a square. Then always put a negative sign, and once again take this 3 here and make it square, and finally take the number positive 14 here. So in the next line, we can write x plus 3 whole square plus 5. If you plot this quadratic polynomial, you will get a parabola whose stationary point or the vertex would be negative 3, 5. Let's proceed to the next question. Here once again we find the coefficient of x squared is 1. We first take the coefficient of x now and divide this by 2. Then we have x, take this sign, minus 2 whole square. Always put a negative sign. Then take this 2 and make it a square. Then positive 16. So in the next line, we're going to get x minus 2 whole square and plus 12. Here, the coefficient of x square is 1. We take the coefficient of x, which is 2 over 2, that is 1. Now we write x minus 1 whole square minus 1 square minus 19. That gives me x minus 1 whole square minus 20. In question 4, we once again have the coefficient of x squared as 1. Here, the coefficient of x is 3, so divided by 2. You can write in the next step 3 by 2. Also you can write 1.5. In the next step, I'm going to write x minus 3 over 2 whole square minus 3 over 2 whole square minus 5, which now I get it as x minus 3 by 2 whole square minus 29 over 4. In question 5, I see the coefficient of x squared is 1 and the coefficient of x is 5. So 5 divided by 2 or 2.5. In the next step, x plus 5 over 2 whole square minus 5 over 2 whole square minus 8. X plus 5 over 2 whole square minus 25 over 4 minus 8. Finally, I can write x plus 5 over 2 whole square minus 57 over 4. Let's check this question. Here the coefficient of x squared is 1 and the coefficient of x is 20. So I divide 20 by 2 and I get 10. In the first bracket, I have to write x minus 10 whole square minus 10 minus 10 whole square plus 100. That gives me x minus 10 whole square plus 90. Now that we know, we can solve the following equations by the method of completing the square. I have picked few questions, and let's start with question number 7. Here the coefficient of x squared is 1. Once again, we take the coefficient of x, which is 6, divide by 2, which is 3. First step, x plus 3 whole square minus 3 whole square minus 5 equal to 0, which will give me x plus 3 whole square minus 14 equal to 0. X plus 3 whole square is now equal to 14. We need to take negative 14 to the other side, so it becomes positive 14. Now the next step is to remove the square, so x plus 3 whole square will be plus minus square root of 14. So x is equal to negative 3 plus minus a square root of 14. Therefore, now we have two answers. Say my first answer, x1, is negative 3 plus square root of 14, or in decimals I can write that as 0.742. My other answer, x2, will be negative 3 minus square root of 14, or negative 6.74 in three significant figures. Let's check the next question. The coefficient of x squared is 1 and the coefficient of x is 12. We divide 12 by 2, that gives me 6. Here I have x minus 6 whole square minus 6 square plus 1 is equal to 0, which is x minus 6 whole square minus 35 is equal to 0. We need to take negative 35 to the right side of the equation, so I get x minus 6 whole square is equal to 35. Next step is to remove the square, so the other side becomes plus minus root of 35. So I get x equal to 6 plus minus square root of 35. So my first answer, let's say x1 equal to 6 plus root 35, or in decimals I can get this as 11.9. My other answer is 6 minus square root of 35, or in decimal this will be 0.742. 0, 8, 4, 0. In this question, the coefficient of x squared is 1, coefficient of x is 1. We divide the coefficient of x 1 by 2 or 0.5. Next step would be x minus 1 over 2 whole square minus 1 over 2 whole square minus 11 is equal to 0, which will be x minus 1 over 2 whole square minus 45 over 4 equal to 0. This gives me x minus 1 by 2 whole square is equal to 45 over 4. That is x minus 1 by 2 is equal to plus minus square root of 45 over 2. So my x is going to be half plus minus square root of 45 over 2 or 1 plus minus square root of 45 over 2. The next question, we first need to expand the brackets. So I get 5x plus x squared equal to 2, which I can write as x squared plus 5x minus 2 equal to 0. We see that the coefficient of x squared is 1 and the coefficient of x is 5. I divide it by 2. So I get x plus 5 over 2 whole square minus 5 over 2 whole square minus 2 equal to 0, which gives me x plus 5 over 2 whole square minus 33 over 4 equal to 0. X plus 5 over 2 will be equal to plus minus square root of 33 over 2. And so I have x as negative 5 over 2 plus minus square root of 33 over 2, which I can write negative 5 plus minus square root of 33 over 2. I can find two answers. One I can say x1 then can be negative 5 plus square root 33 over 2, and my other answer will be x2, which is negative 5 minus square root of 33 over 2. In this question, we need to first remove the x in the denominator of the fraction. So what we are going to do is we need to multiply both sides of the expression by x. By doing this, this x and the x cancels, and when you open the bracket, you get x square minus 7x equal to 3, or x square minus 7x minus 3 is equal to 0. Coefficient of x squared is 1. We take the coefficient of x, that is 7, divide by 2. And then we can write x minus 7 over 2 whole square minus 7 over 2 whole square minus 3 is equal to 0, which will be x minus 7 over 2 whole square minus 61 over 4 equal to 0. That's going to be x minus 7 over 2 whole square is equal to 61 over 4. So my x minus 7 over 2 is going to be plus minus square root of 61 over 2. So I get x equal to 7 over 2 plus minus square root of 61 over 2, which you can finally write it as 7 plus minus square root of 61 over 2. In this question, we need to expand the brackets. So we get x square plus 2x minus 4x minus 8 is equal to negative 7, which when you simplify, get x square minus 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. Here, the coefficient of x square is 1. We divide the coefficient of x, which is 2, by 2. That is 1. So now we can write this as x minus 1 whole square minus 1 square minus 1 is equal to 0, which is x minus 1 whole square minus 2 equal to 0. X minus 1 whole square is equal to 2. So x minus 1 will be plus minus square root of 2. So x is then equal to 1 plus minus square root of 2. So we can say first answer is 1 plus square root of 2, which is also in decimals 2.41, and the other answer is 1 minus square root of 2, which in decimals would be negative 0.41. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thanks for watching.